drink it all the time because it's poison. And sometimes, you know, I just need a little poison in my life. I do everything else right. Okay. You know what I'm saying, Leo Nix? They always hating on me. They call me a racist. First they call me, I was a trans frog. Yo, listen, since I've been practicing my trans frogism, ribbit, I've really been getting some perks from being a frog every once in a while. I only become a frog like when I go somewhere where I can get some perks. You know, I'm only a trans frog where it helps me. Anyway, can I start the topic? All right. Nobody's here. Should I start here? Usually when I come on, I know they didn't, do you guys want me to start or should I wait for more people? I'd like to start, but I want to, you know, maybe I should wait. Because usually when I start the topic, people are like, oh, you know, Fleur, what did you, maybe I'll wait. Anyway, I'll be on Zoom tonight. We're going to be on Zoom. I'm going to do the 2024 predictions probably, I'll maybe have it out Sunday or Monday. You want me to wait? I'll wait. Yeah, so how's everybody been? Did everyone enjoy the holidays? Did you celebrate the fake Gregorian New Year's? You know it's not 2024 yet, right? That's all cap. It's not 2024. It's still 2023. And it's, first of all, we don't even know if it's even 2023. It might be a whole nother, it might be like 1,245. It's not even 2024. People are celebrating 2024. It's not even there. We're not even there. It's not even a New Year's. New Year's isn't until actually just legitimately April 1st. That's why they call it April Fool's Day, because only the fools believe that it's the year begins in the middle of winter. That's insane. That's mental illness. They're projecting mental illness on everyone. People, oh, 2024. They do all their New Year's resolutions and all that craziness. Why don't you wait until spring? Because that's really when New Year's begins. The end of March. Look, they're beeping. Yeah. So it doesn't begin until April 1st, which is April Fool's Day. Yeah. So, you know, just know that if you celebrate, you're celebrating in vain. If you want to do anything as far as, you know, metaphysical, you should do it when the actual year begins, not when they say it begins. Everything that listen, United Fix is a liar. Everything that they've taught you, all forms of education, forms of mind control. We're going to go into the 1980s. Okay. And, I wanted to wait until at least, because I haven't been on a while, maybe at least 400 people come in. If not, I'm going to start in about 5 minutes. Oh, your little one, your 8-year-old said, let's skip 2024. It doesn't exist. Oh, see, the little ones know. What do you know? You little light worker. Little ones know. Those are the newer beings that came to the planet. So there's a lot that we have to talk about. I'm not going to talk about everything. I wasn't supposed to stay on long, y'all. I'm parked. I'm drinking. I'm hiding in a car like an addict, drinking my Starbucks, you know, antagonizing the haters. Okay. And even when I say, you know, when I said, when you look at just the 1980s, I'm going to talk about something that they did that's dastardly, and it's why you're hearing 1980s music. I'll wait a couple more minutes because when I start, I won't be able to stop. So, there's a lot of forms of activated mind control that's happening now. And I want to really say, you know, Idaho, Wisconsin, all you places that are middle America, they coming for you. And they got y'all surrounded. That's really ashamed. Yeah. It's you know, it's really sad. You saw what happened, right? In Idaho, right? And with the Idaho, that happened in the school. What was the school's name? the Panthers. What was the school's name? Something Panther. The school that just had a mass shooting. You know, a month ago, was it 3 months ago? They called in and said, if you got to look for it, it's crazy. They had investigated that there was going to be a shooting. They had investigated that someone said there was going to be a mass shooting, and they ignored it. They said they looked into it, they ignored it, and guess what? It happened just today. So it's really sad. So, you know, my heart goes out for, you know, I don't know. I didn't look into the details, but, you know, a lot of false flags, a lot of assassinations and murders and setups and psyops are coming to a neighborhood near you. So, you know, keep on your toes. The NPCs are really on fleek. The NPCs are working overtime. You know, you got the AI system really doing, remember, we're going through reset. It is pole shift time. So you've got the mind control programming on high. You've got everyone, you know, you got everybody one in for their nice, remember, because you can go to your grocery store right now and get the grocery store said that you can go in and get 15% off your groceries if you get the flu shot, the pneumonia shot, and extra cucaracha shot, and they'll throw in a shingle shot just for a good measure. And you got all these people going out getting their shots because they want 15% off. That's why you can't trust anybody who would sell out anything for just 15% off their groceries. Just for 15% off their groceries, they will shed all over you. That's why everyone's got the forever coughs. Okay? This video, listen, I don't want to purple pill you so early because we're waiting for the topic. I'm just going to wait 5 more minutes and then we're going to start on the 1980s. And then, because I don't want to purple pill you today. It's too early. Oh, Walmart now offers affirm payments. What's that? What's an affirm payment? What's that? What is that? Affirm payment? What does that mean? You pay over time? What? What does that mean? Oh, it's a credit card loan. They're giving loans at Walmart. I'm sorry. What? So it's so bad that people got to take loans to shop at the cheapest, most diabolical store in the world, which is basically going to be used as FEMA camps to hold people in hostage when they don't take their cucaracha shots for the 20th time. And I already showed you what they did with the medical, which is so slick. They put in new amendments to the medical. So if we're in war or presumed war, remember it said declared war or not declared war, which is basically saying whenever. Oh my God. This hologram is really out of control, y'all. This simulation is going rogue real quick. All right, y'all, I'm going to start the topic. Cheetos on layaway. Green Eye Crow said Cheetos on layaway. I can't. Y'all are ridiculous. Cece's Pizza started the facial recognition. You shouldn't be eating at Cece's Pizza. 4 digits on your phone number. Oh my God. All right, y'all. I can't. It's so diabolical. It's hilarious. That's what I'm saying. It's like, you know, when you think you're getting punked? I think the whole simulation is punking us right now. Okay? My skin is like red. Oh my God. Okay, so let's get into the topic. So I found out, everybody, it was through another YouTuber, and I think it was a TikToker. I never know, because we get to the zombies. They kind of put me up on this, but come to groceries and inflammation central killing people. Oh Lord. Had to put my groceries on layaway. Oh darn, Sean. Sean said it. Oh my God. I can't. Y'all, let's stop. Come on, you're gaslighting me. I can't. I can't. Y'all. Okay, hold on. I gotta be serious. Okay, let's get in the topic. Because you know YouTube may take down this video. I never know what YouTube is on my butt, is up my butt so badly. Like I don't know if they'll take the video down. They like to gaslight me. So let me get it in. And you know, I'm on other platforms, so they could kiss my butt, my rascal. Anyway, so we're going to talk about the 1980s mind control programming with the music that's being reactivated every time you walk in a place. Now, remember when I was in Brazil, like, this was 2018. This is before the whole cucarachi diabolicalness. Remember I was saying that wherever we go, we're hearing 1980s music, and it didn't make sense, right? Like, we would go into stores. Even now, you'll go into stores and you hear the whole 1980s. You'll hear songs from the 1980s, and it's everywhere. And it doesn't matter if you're in the country here or you're in another country, because it was happening when I was in Brazil. It happened when I was in Colombia. It happened when I'm in Mexico. It happens when I'm in the States. It happens when I'm in Canada. Wherever I go. Did it happen? The Bahamas, it happened. Where else was I in the last couple of years? Been to so many places in a couple of years. In Panama, it happened. So it's happening all over. So at first we were like, maybe they're throwing us into a loop. Like it's really a time loop. Okay. So yes. But what happened is that I found out why they're doing it. It is a tone frequency that is literally linked to a mind control programming. They play the music, and at that time there was a type of mind. They were putting people in a mind control in the 80s. Like they were using multiple programs to put people under a spell. Whether it's a form of lulling someone, like a lullaby, into sleep mode, they had put people into a mind control. So what happens is that whenever you hear the 80s music, you're being lulled into that mind control programming. And you say to yourself, well, what if their young people weren't born then? You know, like, you know, a lot of us from Generation X are like born in the 80s or late 70s. I think even Generation X, I think it goes into the 60s, right? I think in 1969, aren't they Generation X too? I think they're Generation X as well. If you weren't born, then you say, well, how could it affect the youth if they weren't even there to pick up the frequency of that mind control programming? It doesn't matter, because it's in the cellular memories of their mothers and fathers, their big sisters, their cousins. Once you have the programming embedded in the cellular memory, it is dispersed in the offspring. So even at the same point now, I love the 80s music. Remember, because it's just in my generation. So we had a lot of great music, but the first forms of mind control, as far as putting that into frequencies and changing the megahertz, was really deeply embedded in the 1980s music. And they put it in there knowing. That's why, and how I know is the music in itself, when you hear it, it puts you in a certain mind state, almost like it takes you into a beta state. So it makes you more susceptible to other forms of frequency attacks. So whenever you hear the mind control programming of 1980s, you got to be very mindful that it's almost like a frequency that opens up your field for frequency attacks, and it can attack your adrenals, it can attack your fertility, it can attack your mind. It basically it opens you up to be attacked physically. So every time you walk in a grocery store, and you know Walmart, since you were just talking about Walmart on layaway, Walmart is the biggest proponent of using this frequency music, this musical frequency, and music. If you look how I spelled it, y'all, it says sick. Sick is in the word. You got to be very mindful that when you hear certain music is making you sick. They tell you sick. It's making you sick. So when you hear the frequency of the 1980s, I had to make this because I was like, everyone is getting triggered, and you know, people are having the forever coughs. And you got everyone going in for their 15% off at the grocery store, trying to get every shot in the world. Flu shot, pneumonia shot, AIDS shot, everything. Like, they got some wild looking people over here, y'all. NPCs, y'all. they trigger the NPCs whenever I talk about something. So that, it's like, they're NPC because they look straight at me. They shouldn't even see me. Okay. So basically you have them weaponizing your music. They're using the 1980s mind control programming to lower your field, your energetic field, and it's making you susceptible to frequency attacks, toning frequency attacks. So what happens is that you got all this 5G, these towers all over the place. You got satellites set up all around this firmament, all inside the firmament. Like, basically you've got all of the underground, while you were inside your house during Kugarachis, they were doing all that construction, putting all of the fiber optics underneath the ground and basically sending out signals now. So now, if some of you remember people walking their dogs in New York City? Do you remember that? And they were walking their dogs and the dogs were getting electrocuted on their little paws. It's so sad. Do you guys remember that? Does anyone remember that? You guys do? The little dogs. It was like a little span of time. It wasn't that much. It was like a small span of time. The dogs, and they reported it for a second and then they took it off. That was what was happening. They were putting all of this new technology underneath the ground, these fiber optics. And what happens is that it's pumping up a frequency. So not only are you being frequency assaulted from the sky, all of these freaking weaponized towers all over the place. Now, first of all, you got to think to yourself, when could a phone company have that much power to put all of these weaponized frequency weapons, which are the towers all over the place? How do they have more say than the community? Like back in the days, you could go to your community, your community gatherings, right? And you could say, listen, we're not okay with you putting these new towers. It could cause health issues. It's the same reason why people don't live close to transponders, like, huge, yards of transponders. There's a reason why houses next to those transponders are like 50 to 60% less than houses that are away from them. Okay. Now, how do you know that it's really going to impede you? Is that something happens to the birds. We talked about the fact that in 2011 was the first time the blackbirds fell from the sky in Arkansas. You guys remember that, right? You guys are so concerned. This is not a real piercing. Look, my lips are fine. Okay? It's not real. I don't put holes in my body. Okay? I know it bugs you out. Does it bother you that it's on my lip? Does that hurt? Does it hurt you watching me? Oh, yeah. If it bothers you, I'll take it off. It's an energetic thing. Okay? It's not real. Okay, so in 2011, there was the first time the blackbirds fell out of the sky, right? In 2011 in Arkansas. Now, some of you have been with me for a long time, so I've been on YouTube for a long time, and before that, you heard me a lot on the radio. So 2011, the blackbirds fell from the sky in Arkansas. Okay, so that's the first time it was reported. And people said, oh, it could be the fireworks in New Year's. Maybe it was something that bothered them. Maybe it was, maybe it was like something, they said it was fireworks. That's how the news reported it, that they thought it was fireworks or something shocked them, right? Okay, so let's go 2012. Same time, January, same year, same time of the year. Again, blackbirds fell from the sky. Now, big up to Alex from my group in Zoom. Big up to Alex. Alex is like a masculine M. I've got two of the most amazing people on my Zoom. He mentioned something that was interesting because it was only affecting a specific type of bird. A specific type of bird. Okay, so sometimes you think to yourself, because even like my mind, I reported this so many times, but he was absolutely right. Why did it only affect one species of bird at the time? Now, we had that happen in 2012 as well. 2013, we had the same occurrence with birds falling from the sky, right? So now you have the blackbirds being connected to the first assault, frequency assault, that was affecting specifically blackbirds. Yes, and the blackbirds, because they have a lot of melanin, they pick up the frequencies a lot more. Now, I'm going to bring something up that's controversial. When did the natural hair movement begin? Can you guys remember that? Can anyone remember the natural hair movement when it began? I don't know the date, so I want to kind of build, but I want to make sure I'm right. Can anyone look up quickly when I'm talking about the brown women, when the natural hair movement began? Can someone remember? I don't remember. I remember, okay, 2009 to 2010. Why do I bring that up? You do know that hair is an antenna, right? Well, the 60s, yes, but hair is an antenna, right? I haven't been able to fully link it 2016. See, I thought it would be 2016, 2017. That sounds more like what I'm bringing up. The 60s was right, but the 60s was something different. So I'm bringing up like more recently. Okay. Hair is an antenna, right? So it means that whenever you have, your hair will pick up frequencies, right? It'll pick up frequencies in the sky. I think that though people believe, because remember, anything that they're promoting and propaganding, there's an agenda to it, and it isn't something that's positive for us. The natural hair movement in itself, though it appeared to be positive, everything is psyoped in this hologram, in this simulation. Everything is hijacked. There isn't anything that's naturally occurring as far as propaganda. If it is mass projected and promoted, it is definitely coming from the AI propaganda system. Mostly Willy Wonka and his League of Doom have a reason why they're promoting that. Now, when it comes to hair, you do know, like, I'll use an example, which is a great example. I love this story. So when the Europeans came into, I think it was Central America. I think it was Mexico, if I'm not mistaken. Some of you can remind me if I'm correct. I think it was Mexico. I know it was the natives that were in that area. It could have been, I think it was Mexico, if I'm not mistaken. You can correct me if I'm wrong. So at the time, there were some Europeans that came in, and they used to have these natives that were trackers, right? And the natives kept their hair long, right? They didn't cut their hair. So they kept their hair long. And the men would go out and they could track in the night. They didn't need to have their eyes, fully, like they could go at night and they didn't need any lighting. Like they can go and track in the night. And what they notice is that it could be Canada too. You guys, can you look that up and fact check me? I want to make sure I'm correct. I don't know where it was. I know it was one of the native groups. It could be in Canada. It could have been in Central America. I hate when I don't remember specifically where it was. I know the story, but I just forgot the region. Anyway, so they had the native men tracking, and they would have them track at night, right? So what they noticed is that when the Christians started to indoctrinate, because, no one blames Christianity, but Christianity were like the biggest indoctrinators. I mean, in Canada and all these different places, right? So when the Christians had started to cut off the natives' hair, or incentivize for the natives to cut their hair, the trackers couldn't track anymore. They lost their sense of balance, and they weren't able to go in the night and find things anymore, right? So hair in itself, their hair, like a cat's whiskers, it didn't only create balance or level their equilibrium. It literally it enhanced their ability to be able to have extra sensory in their environment. Okay. So, this is important for this conversation, because what happens is that when they promoted the natural hair movement. I personally, this is what I think. And I know that I'm right to a certain degree. There's probably more to it. When they promoted the natural hair movement, they started to put up these weaponized towers all over the place. Cell phones became a big thing. Wi-Fi started to be more promoted. And what happened is that when women started to wear their natural hair, they were more susceptible to being frequency assaulted because the hair could naturally pick up the frequencies. So their hair was picking up the frequencies. And you say to yourself, Fleur, why would you demonize? I'm not. I'm just talking about fact. Just like the whole veganism thing, I don't think it was negative that people ate natural, healthy, raw foods. I actually think it's healthy to balance your body out, especially your meridians, when you're eating too much acidic food. Like if you're eating a lot of meat of death and, flesh, and you're eating animals that have been traumatized. Also, the beef has been pumped with all kinds of hormones and vaccinations. Of course, that is unhealthy. And when they were promoting veganism, that in itself, separated from the government or the Willy Wonka systems or propaganda, was healthy to balance out. Like if you ate too much meat, it's good to go on a fast and actually recalibrate your body by taking in more alkaline foods. But being too alkaline can also throw off your meridians too. So I think it was healthy in itself when people did it organically. When the government and social media started to promote it, that's how you knew it was psyoped. Just like the natural hair movement. I personally think when they pumped out the natural hair movement, it's because they put all this weaponized frequency machines around and they knew a way to incept into the biosphere was to go to promote natural hair movement. Women would wear their natural hair and they would be susceptible getting all these frequencies. And because the frequencies had been hacked, it left the women susceptible to being infiltrated. That's what I think. And I think that's why they promoted the natural hair movement. I don't think they did it for our health. I don't think they did veganism for our health. They did it to psyop, because even when they weaponized the fruit and vegetable, you do know that they put all kinds of chemtrails and everything that was leaching into the soil and was being pulled in along with the oxalates that was messing with people's body. So now people are eating a lot of greens and everything. They're getting a lot of oxalates and then they get a lot of health issues. Okay. So these bastards were literally utilizing something that was supposed to be healthy for us. And listen, in a natural world, in a way that our hair is supposed to be natural. Our hair shouldn't be tampered with. Our hair hooks up the frequencies around us so that we can deal with our environment and we're able to, it actually balances out our meridians. What I'm talking about now is the 1980s. They created a signaling, a hertz that was weaponized. And what they did is they're doing a loop of the hertz in every grocery store, every department store you're going and you're hearing the 1980s music, because it has that frequency assault loop. And it's basically putting people under mind control. Then they're promoting for us to leave our frequencies, our hair out to pick up all the frequencies. And this is where I know that that's why they made sure the Jewish women shaved their hair before they put on their, like when they get married, a Jewish woman, if she's Orthodoxy or a Sidai, when she gets married, she shaves off all her hair, just like a nun does under the habit. She shaves off all her hair and then she starts to wear wigs. Because I thought to myself, the Muslim women, the women of Islam do it too, but they don't cut their hair. And I was like, why would they do that? Why are they shaving? Because my thing is, if anybody, big up to the Jewish women in here, and you can correct me if I'm wrong. I was thinking to myself, why would they make them shave their hair and then wear wigs the exact same texture as their hair? What did they know about hair? Why did they do that? And you got to ask yourself the question, because the Jewish population knows certain things that are happening before they happen. You cannot tell me any different. That's why the government has a lot of Jewish people. The banks have a lot of Jewish people. They know a lot of things before it happens. Even with 9/11, they knew when it was going to happen and they cleared out. So they know a lot of things, especially that population who is more Ashkenazi, meaning the Eastern European Jews. Why did their women shave their heads? And then ding, 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 it hit me. When you have these frequency weapons, and they're being pushed out there, it will pick up in your hair, and you'll pick it up and you digest the frequency so that you can basically work with your environment. It lets you know what you should eat. It actually is supposed to bring in frequency so we can register what we do in the environment. Our body picks it up. But what happened is that I think they knew that there was going to be some sort of frequency assault. So they created a practice, because not all Jewish women do that. Not all. Because if you look in itself, like you look at the actual, the more Sephardic Jews who are from Yemen, from Ethiopia, from Turkey, from Morocco, Spain, those weren't things that I think they did previously. So any of my Jewish family, you can let me know if that's true. Because I found it interesting that that group did similar things to the women of Islam, but the women of Islam all covered their hair. Whereas it was different with the Jewish women who were the Asidai. It was totally different with them. They didn't do this. They cover their hair. They wear the wigs to cover their hair, but they shave their hair. And hair is frequency. But also, it makes you easier to be under mind control if you have your head out, bald. Like if you cut your hair and you leave it out uncovered, you are more susceptible to mind control, because that's why they shave people's heads before they do anything electromagnetically. They'll shave their heads, making them more susceptible. But the Jewish Hasidic women tend, not only do they shave their heads, they put hair on their heads that's not their own. And also they don't put hair on their head from certain groups of women. They won't buy wigs from places like India, the Southeast Asia, places where there are melanated women. They will only get wigs from other Russian women, like women in this, and from what I understand, you can correct me if I'm wrong, they only buy wigs of hair, organic hair, that is from Eastern Europe. That's why their wigs cost like thousands of dollars. I mean, they get it cut, everything just like their hair. So am I correct? How many hours I sat at LaGuardia in full light has one did the same thing. I want to ask, because I have my Jewish friends, but I'm just saying, I found this very interesting. When I'm talking about mind control, I'm really looking at things from a very microscopic position. Okay? I just look at it from a certain position. I think of the people who have the most control over social media